Well, we start with what is happening in West Asia. The United States of America has now issued a stern warning to Iran against launching another strike on Israel. According to reports, Washington told Tehran it will not be able to hold Tel Aviv back or ensure that the next attack is calibrated and targeted as the previous one. There's no response from the US or Iran to that report, which came hours after Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's latest statement. In a video released by the Iranian state media, Khamenei threatened Israel as well as the US with a crushing response over attacks on Iran and its proxies. He, however, did not elaborate on the timing of the attack nor its scope. Notably, Iran has notified airspace closure from tomorrow till November 6th, citing gunfire. Iran has carried out two major attacks against Israel this year. The first in April, after a strike on its consulate in Damascus, and the second in October that Tehran said was in response to the assassination of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh and chief of Hezbollah Hassan Nasrallah. Meanwhile, the war in Gaza continues. The Israeli military said two of its soldiers have been killed during fighting in the northern Gaza Strip on Saturday. In a span of a week of operation in Jabalia, the IDF said that its troops have killed some 900 terror operatives. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization said 4 children were among 6 people wounded in a strike on a polio vaccination center. WHO chief said that the vaccination center was in an area where a humanitarian pause was agreed to allow vaccination to proceed. On the other hand, the Israeli military said it identified 2 missiles crossing into Israeli territory from northern Gaza. It was the first such rocket fire from Gaza in weeks. Meanwhile, demonstrations continue in Israel. Hundreds gathered in Tel Aviv demanding that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu secure a deal to release the hostages taken by Hamas militants on October 7th, while others called for early elections and for Netanyahu to step down. And well, for more on this, we're now being joined by Colonel David Biderosh from Washington, D.C. He is a West Asia analyst and an associate professor at the Near East South Asia Center for Security Studies. Welcome to World DNA, Colonel Biderosh. First up, U.S. has issued a stern warning to Iran that it will not be able to hold back Israel if it launches an attack. And of course, this warning comes after Bibi said that Israel can reach anywhere in Iran and few hours after Khamenei's fresh threat to Israel and the US. My question to you, will the latest warning deter Iran, as reports also suggest that US B-52 bombers have started arriving in West Asia?
Yeah, I think they will for the intended purpose, which is to ensure that you don't have a wider spread of conflict before the U.S. presidential election. I think the Iranians are pretty politically savvy, and they know that another major conflagration would probably strengthen Donald Trump in what is an election that's really too close to call. They do not want Donald Trump as president. Because his first act will probably be to reimpose harsh sanctions on Iran. So I think that at least for until Thursday, we're safe. The bigger question is how much action against Israel does the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps have to show in order to maintain some veneer of legitimacy with the Iranian population? I think it's probable that we'll see some action within the next 2 weeks.
Biderosh, you did touch upon the implications, the ramifications of any further attack by Iran or Israel, which could push West Asia into wider war, as we are just few days away from the US presidential polls. But talk to us more about the nature of Iranian attack. There is still no clarity on that or the timing of the attack. Israel says that Iran is facing a dilemma, perhaps, after the kind of damage incurred on the Iranian defense facilities. with reports also suggesting that Iran's S-300 air defense system has been damaged. How do you assess the nature of any kind of Iranian attack on Israel?
I think that Iran's S-300 system has been neutralized. This is embarrassing for Iran, given that it was their top defense acquisition priority. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars to purchase this from Russia, and Israel took it out rather easily. So I think that most of their radars are destroyed. Israel has also destroyed Iranian operator, Iranian accessed air defense radars in Syria and Iraq. So what that means is that Iran has never been able to counter missiles launched from outside its airspace, but now Israel will be able to fly aircraft over Iran with a great degree of impunity. So basically, if Iran were to launch another missile and drone strike against Israel, Israel will have the ability to target pretty much anything within Iran, to include attacks on targets within the major cities. This would really rattle the Iranian public consciousness, and again would have great damage on the ruling regime, the Revolutionary Guard regime. So it's not just a defense issue, it's a regime survival issue for Iran. So that argues in favor of Iranian restraint. However, I'm afraid that the supreme leader is kind of painting himself into a box with his rhetoric. He can't say there will be response, every Friday for 4 weeks with no response. I think the American presence is designed primarily to ensure that Iran does not launch an attack against the Arab Gulf states, as Iran has threatened to do. And again, that keeps in with the Biden administration goal of preventing a wider regional conflict.
Right, Colonel Roche, earlier Khamenei appeared to downplay the attack launched by Israel on Iran, but in the past few hours, it seems like he's adamant on launching an attack on Israel. But thank you for joining us on World DNA with your insights.
Thank you.